Focusing the Third Eye, a mescaline trip report by Brent, uploaded to erowid.org on July 20th, 2009. Before I can really understand why a trip has gone in a certain direction, I have to think about my past history, which has a great deal of sway over my mindset. I'll be 21 this September of 2008, and since I was about 16 or 17, I've steadily become more and more interested in psychedelics. It all started out with a few aborts my friend Zeke gave me one night at a small party of about 15 or so, in a small cabin in a quiet college town. I had read about psychedelics a great deal online, and was not actively seeking mushrooms, but hoping a great deal to come in contact with them. I had even gone to the extent of picking poisonous mushrooms, and became intensely ill from eating them. Why did I seek the mushroom, you ask? Well, of course the visual aspect is very interesting, but as I have learned more recently, it is better to just free my mind completely and not even focus upon those. Once the mind is clear, I am able to feel the love of something far, far greater than myself. The culture of the hippie area had always interested me a great deal, because of their willingness to love and embrace everything and everyone around them, no questions asked. Continuing with my drug history, which involved me seeing a beautiful floating orb of white light after my first trip, I became even more interested in the mushroom, and more interested in other psychedelics in general. Eventually I met Colas, who had become my greatest friend to date. We used psychedelics together a great deal, and even experienced telepathy and telekinesis in an LSD trip together, both witnessing the exact same thing at the same time. Earlier this year, Colas passed away in a fatal car accident. I've always had a history of having premonitions of sorts, a few examples being that of a building burning down, an explosion at a factory, and a couple months prior to Colas' death, a premonition that Colas would die. It was so startling that I immediately blew it off and refused to take it into further consideration, because if he did die, then it would happen either way. Last November, during our last trip together, we both started to break through to the other side. That feeling when I'm slipping between dimensions is absolutely breathtaking. My ability to feel bliss is what determines how far into these dimensions I can go. It seems as though between each dimension I go through, these masks that I wear that disguise who I really am, the more of these masks I wear, the harder it is for my soul to breathe. When my soul can breathe, I feel truly in touch with everything and everyone around me. Our breath is just a basic example of the flow of the universe and how everything is constantly changing. It is when I learned how to control my breath and travel into states as I choose that I experience true bliss. This is what I have learned in my LSD trip, mushroom trip, and last night, my mescaline trip since Colas died. He did experience bliss before he died though, and I am to this day convinced, as are many of my friends, that Colas was here to plant a seed in each of our minds so that we ourselves could spread this seed to others, and help others come into contact with the bliss that they have just forgotten how to access. Meditation is a great way to find this bliss as well. The trip. Last night I consumed one capsule of mescaline. It was a white powder. Looked like it was decent quality. I suspect it was a trichoceros extract of some sort, but I could definitely be wrong, as the only other mescaline containing substances I have taken are Peruvian torch and San Pedro. Regardless, mescaline is a very smooth drug. It feels so natural, and I feel one with all of nature. In my experiences with DMT, I feel as though I am taken to an alien existence, in a dimension far from our own, where the function of reality is truly complex. With LSD, I feel as though I am strung across the astral plane, which is a very intense experience indeed. With mescaline though, I am riding a wave. If I so choose, I can manipulate this wave and flow seamlessly through space-time. It is a magnificent experience, However, I must say it has been painful having my ego softened enough to where I'm able to experience this other existence as much as I am, and I'm very thankful and very blessed to have reached thus far in my trips. Admittedly, I am no expert, however. I'm no Terence McKenna, nor am I Timothy Leary. The things these guys must have experienced and seen and lived through fascinates me a great deal. I cannot even imagine how mentally solid they must have been. 3:30 AM. Ingested tablet with a bit of soda pop on an empty stomach. That same smooth mescaline wave is starting to creep up on me around 4:15 AM. 4:45 to 5 AM. Things have become rather wavy. There are beautiful neon colours flowing on the walls of green, pink, blue, purple, and perhaps more. I've closed my eyes now, and am laying on the couch putting my mind in a meditative state. 5 AM to 11 AM. For the remainder of my trip, I focused on living without my body, and experienced the greatest bliss I have ever felt in it. I was at the place I was at before I was born, which has become a bit more familiar to me the last few times I've tripped. It is a really beautiful place. This is the astral plane, but it seems so much different than when I'm on LSD. Maybe this is not the same place after all, but I know I'm living in a dimension that I call home. How I ever forgot where I came from I do not know, but I promised the people there I would not forget, and I most certainly haven't. I cannot see nor directly speak to Colas, but I know he is in this existence somewhere, in some form, doing what he was meant to do. I can no longer hold on to his death. As the Tibetan monks say, mourning the death will only distract the soul from reaching nirvana. I must feel happy for him, feel pleased that his soul is now free. Feel happy that I am free, let go, experience the bliss that lies within if I simply live without the attachments of ego and body. But it is hard to let go. But why stay? What is there to fear? The unknown? This is the only thing I have ever had faith in. My love for everything around me. Focus on that love. Free my soul. I'm visualizing my soul trying to more or less walk out of my body. I do not know how to walk in this form. When I try to open my eyes, they will not open. I feel as though I am in a dream that I am trying to gain control over. I remember how this is done. Babies don't know how to walk, but they find a way. I focused, and I began to struggle, wriggling out of my body and freeing the third eye. I continued to focus my mind on love, and rather than trying to walk, I learned another way to move my arms and legs. I'm not focusing my body, I'm focusing something else. I'm focusing my third eye. And now I can see reality for what it is. We are on a plane, and all of our paths are interconnecting, trying to form a greater net so that we can feel a greater presence once we are all united. I'm removing my masks now. I'm shedding my ego, remembering what is important to me. To lose the ego, I must realise that I am not the most important aspect of reality. I must learn to become the father, not just the son. To become the father, I must become selfless, and learn to truly give myself to the rest of the world. Just give my love to everything around me at all times. That is all it takes. I'm being reborn. I've shed my ego and am now in an existence I seem to know from some time long ago. It's so good to be back. For the remainder of the trip, I spent as much time in this state as possible, realising how perfect everything was, and simply trying to get to a point where I could steadily focus on that state and not lose it. I feel as though I accomplished a lot in this trip, and I look forward to accomplishing even more the next time around. This was an absolutely amazing experience, and it helped me let go of my friend's death. Love you, Colas. I'll see you again soon.